Yo, what's poppin'? What's to it, man? Y'all already know how the squad do it. You gotta stay moving to get through it. I hope everybody blessed and stress free. And if you ain't, start knowing you can so you can stop thinking you can't. So with that being said, man, let's get to the content, Jack. What's today? What's today? Today is Thursday, right? It's Thursday. Over hump day, past hump day. Um, why that's important, right? Is because everyday things change. Something changes. Not just the day. You know, people, things about people, the ways people act, the ways people was, like all of these things surfaces, right? And when you a public figure, when you become a public figure, you know, things about you become public. Now, for surely a person's past is they past. That's neither here nor there. It's not up for us to debate a person's past and where they came from, Especially if we didn't know that person in their past. And all we know is these people of today. So you can't judge that. Now what you can judge is what you see, hear, find out after y'all have became acquainted and y'all have been you know, dealing with each other for a while, right? You start to tend to see what people's views are. You tend to see like the type of people that what they believe in, they disbeliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like how they really how they move, what they character is like. Excuse me. One thing about character to me, like I used the Bart Simpson example for the longest time because you know that's what a character is. Bart's outfit is Bart's outfit. Bart's personality is Bart's personality, right? If somebody was to see Bart Simpson acting nice, they gonna be thinking, what is going on? What's wrong? He might not even still be the same appealing Bart Simpson as he was to him when he was who he really was. Oftentimes, when it comes to street and gangs and hustling and all of it, but anything to do with outside, not not legit, illegal, things like this. Uh, People tend to put on masks. They tend to recreate themselves in a sense. They they have a purpose for what they doing, if that makes sense, right? Like so, a person who ain't never been tough or rough or no gangsterness and none of this, right? He starts to hang with this gang of people, or this group of people who this is what they exhibit, and in order for him to be around them, he would feel mentally that he has to do these things to be like them for him to fit in. That's typically how it goes in gang activity. And then throughout the time you work your way up through the ranks, and then you actually become somebody. Unfortunately for Sue Surf, right? Ah man, I don't think this what he wanted. I don't think this what he wanted. Now, shout out to Byron Blake. I want to say this too, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I fuck with double B's. You know what I'm saying? Like uh I fuck with the fact that he replies back, But when I be commenting, I be feeling like gang be thinking like that I'm coming at his content, or like he's so used to probably people trolling or whatever the case, that it's like that's just what it is when you see comments that either negate from what you trying to push, or it's debated, and I want to say this is about the second time that me and him kind of went back and forth with you know comments. And man, no, it ain't nothing like that. I really fuck with bro content. I really like the thoroughness of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just at points though we miss things. We'll miss something. Doing this, we'll miss something. and that little crack that you made. Shout out to you though. For the promo. I really appreciate it. Telling me to take it to my page. Just lets people know that hey, this brother does content as well. But I fuck with your content, gang, and this another piece of your content. And so this was one of the things that we was in the comments about, and it was his content he ran about Big U not telling. Y'all go check that out, man. Like, and I guess bro thought that I was trying to like basically go against what he was saying as far as the telling thing, and all I was saying is that it was a part in the video where he said nobody told, and all I was saying is that this man said somebody told, right? Well, I think me and a lot of other people who kind of made him think he was going against his shit. Well, I ain't gonna say the rest of them made him think that, but he probably felt that with me. But the rest of them, they probably is. So, gang took it upon himself to go a little further. Oh man, we finna light up for this one. I gotta light up for this one. I got to light up for this one, Jack. But I guess Sue Surf co-defendant didn't want to agree to what everybody is trying to say, and we finna watch it together. Let's get busy, man.
The news of Sue Surf cooperating has sent the battle rap community into an uproar. As much as people say they are here for the raps, they are here for the entertainment, they don't care about these people's actual lives, there are some who just cannot wrap their mind around the fact that somebody that they hold in such high regard has done something that the streets look at as such a low thing.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's that. It really, in our realities, more than 80% of the world don't understand none of this. If you when you think about it, right? There's really, just because it's a lot of jails and a lot of prisons, it does not mean that of the 8 billion people, many of them understand and knows what this is. So they just is going off the fact that, oh well, in his raps and he's so believable.
Add to that the fact that a lot of the battle rappers, that people in the battle rap community, a lot of the figures in the battle rap community that people look to have knowledge on this type of topic seem to be confused themselves and don't know exactly what a plea means when you are talking about a racketeering case. So today, we are going to look at the paperwork of one of Sue Surf's co-defendants as we dive into how Sue Surf's plea affected him and possibly other co-defendants. I don't want to waste no more time, so let's get right to it. Now, for those of you who have not seen everything, we're going to do a quick recap, right?
First and foremost, for the people who gonna see this that don't understand the judicial system or what goes on in a case, or how things really transpire, is this, right? Me and you, we get in trouble. Okay? Now, your defense is to go to trial. Me, I'm just wanting to cop out. I'm finna cop out and go and do this. Right? I want it done and over with. You want to go to trial for what we just got caught for. Well, out of nowhere, you find out I'm not going to trial. I took a plea. Well, everybody knows that in order to take a plea, you have to stand up in open court and give a factual basis on what you are taking the plea for. You have to also admit to the acts and what you're taking the plea for. So, right, if I'm pleading not guilty, okay, and we code these, and you go in here and you say, yeah, I'm guilty of this, and we got caught together, When you give these factual basis, chances are in your factual basis, you will incriminate me, making me guilty. Also, you will be recommended to come and testify against me if I do go to trial, which entails is also a part of your plea deal when you have a co-defendant.
And we just gonna go over Surf's plea, the language of the plea, so y'all can get the point. Now, at line 14 is where they start the factual basis. The judge would begin this by asking Surf, from 2015 to around 2022, was he a member of the Rolling 60s? Did the Rolling 60s operate in New Jersey? Did the Rolling 60s have structure? Did they have procedures and protocols that he was required to follow as a member? And Surf would answer yes to all of these questions. Surf was then asked, did he conspire with two or more members to commit two or more crimes in furtherance of the enterprise? Basically asking him, did he commit crimes with other people to help the status and position of the gang? Surf would answer yes to.
Now, why that is important is because this is a racketeering case. This is a RICO charge. So when you are admitting that you did XYZ with two or more people of said enterprise that we're supposed to be in together, they're not, the two or more people aren't people who are not on this case. So when you say yes to doing this with two or more people, it's two or more of us that are fighting this charge with you.
These questions. Key to this video that you are watching today, Surf was asked, did he conspire with other members to move at least 40 to 60 kilograms of marijuana across state lines? And his answer to that was yes. So he's admitting.
Yes, ma'am was the exact answer. And like, y'all be ma'aming and sirring, and as soon as y'all get in, man, just say yes, man. Like, the ma'am and sir shit ain't gonna get you no. Oh, he's so polite. Let's just give him a slap. Bitch, you going down. Shut the fuck up. All that you could have said, hell yeah, I did that, and it's the same damn answer. All that polite shit. 50 years, but they asking you specifics. 40 to 60 kilograms with somebody that's on this case, and you say yes
to conspiring with others. Now, there seem to be a lot of people who believe that this is okay because he did not name anybody specifically, at least not in this moment. So now we gonna move into the effects of Surf's plea. Now, Sue Surf would enter his plea on April 21st of 2023. Just months later, one of Surf's co-defendants would file a motion asking the courts to dismiss his indictment based on claims that the government had not properly alleged any racketeering activity on his behalf, specifically stating that the government had not identified a single ongoing criminal enterprise with respects to him. Rather, they had only alleged several unrelated acts and had not provided any direct connection between his criminal activity and the enterprise. There was no connection, according to him, showing that he committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. So it didn't seem that he was disputing the marijuana enterprise, but he was disputing the fact that he sold marijuana in furtherance of the gang. Basically saying, hey, y'all got me with the weed, it's mine. I don't know nothing about no gang stuff. I don't know nothing about doing nothing.
In which case, at that point, it just turns to a trafficking. He's not in a RICO trafficking. He's just in a trafficking. Like, and could that possibly be the part of what? Yeah, he could have easily been just wrapped into a trafficking had it not been for this nigga telling the police that yeah, he conspired
in furtherance of the gang. These were not gang orders. None of this drug sale stuff is related to gang banging. Specifically stating here, the government has not alleged any hierarchy in the Rolling 60s or how the acts of Mr. Warden, which have no interrelationship with that organization, are RICO predicate acts. Although the proof used to establish the existence of an enterprise and a pattern of racketeering may in particular cases coalesce, proof of a pattern of racketeering activity does not necessarily establish the existence of an enterprise. The government has not sufficiently pled that Mr. Warden was employed by or associated with the enterprise, that he participated in either directly or indirectly in the conduct or the affairs of the enterprise, or that he participated through a pattern of racketeering activity. Accordingly, the indictment against him should be dismissed. Long story short, even though many fans and people who claim to be close to the situation argue that Surf and all of his homies had agreed to plead out and they were going to just accept responsibility for this situation, this guy was still trying to fight. This guy was still saying, hey, I might have had some weed, but it's got nothing to do with no Rolling 60s or no racketeering or RICO. And he was still having his lawyer press that issue. Now, the government will have a chance to respond to this motion, and this is what they had to say. They would start by once again laying out what they believe is the history of the gang and how it migrated from California to New Jersey, establishing a connection between California and New Jersey, strictly for the purpose of establishing the fact that these guys are real members. They are actually connected to California. Now, because this guy is accused of being in charge of the drug activity, they would then direct their attention to the enterprise's involvement in drug distribution. And they would state that enterprise members and associates engaged in or controlled drug trafficking and other criminal activities in various neighborhoods and public housing complexes and as part of the conspiracy. Enterprise members and associates enriched themselves through drug trafficking. For example, because the enterprise controlled certain areas where drugs were sold, members involved in drug distribution, such as Warden, benefited from their association with the enterprise. Warden has worked with enterprise members and associates to distribute controlled substances. Multiple examples of Warden's involvement in drug activity, which constitute predicate acts in furtherance of the enterprise, are detailed in the indictment. For example, as detailed in Overt Act WW, on or about October 6, 2020, Warden and Cox discussed a plan to sell marijuana with other enterprise associates, as well as a plan to sell t-shirts that appeared to be related to the enterprise. During this conversation, Cox referred to Warden.
So y'all finna sell 60s Crips t-shirts and weed at the same time. Like, y'all was Baby D. Y'all thought y'all was trying to be Baby D. That's crazy.
By his alias, Killer. Further, an enterprise associate stated, well, now that we got this weed all over the place, as a unit, let's get all this shit off. And later again, we pretty much have every hood in Newark covered. Each hood should be copping our weed some way, somehow. So basically, as soon as this guy attempted to...
Well, at the end of the day, it ain't really too much more to even contemplate or even talk about or think about. See, people to the people who ain't involved in nothing, don't know nothing about nothing, you just hear it on here, you know, and you go with the trusted source that you hear it from to basically not feed you bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And that's real. That's all right. But the truth of the matter is this, right? You can tell on a person without having to say their name, without having to point a finger, without even having to go to trial. You can say a person's name and you can get a person in trouble, and there is no transcript of you being involved in a way, you know? Like, so what y'all think is snitching, y'all taking just one little piece and saying that if this don't happen, then this ain't what this is, versus understanding that, you know, everything that you make has ingredients to it, and you know, all of these things put into here is what makes the final product. You know what I mean? So it's like with making a cake, making cookies, you know. Even if you just wanted to make some regular old ice water, you know, there's ingredients for that. And without all of the ingredients, you don't have ice water. So snitching is one of those things where there's a lot of ingredients mixed in to make it snitching. And each one of these things is what makes snitch. So just because you see the end product and you look at it and say, oh, well, this is cake, you know, with frosting on it. You don't look past the preparation. You don't look past on what's all in it, unless you're allergic to some shit, right? So now you get to that point to where you look deeper and you want to know what's all in this cake. So yes, what he done is a part of what makes this snitch cake. It's this is a part of it. This is the eggs. This is the flour. This is whatever else you wanted. This is the fucking cookie, the pan that you're cooking it in. This is whatever you want this ingredient to be, but it goes into this cake. This ingredient goes into this snitch cake, and he is helping with chefing it up. Um, with that being said, right? People keep on saying, right, and the bloggers, for instance, like Chris Unbiased, I got to speak on you, man. I got to speak on you because what you done in your last blog, bro, that was the weirdest, cringiest, most like bitch made shit ever. And of course, oh well, you don't got no numbers to do this. One day, all of us had 0 subscribers, and then one day you had your amount. One day I'll have my amount, you know, and this will be placed here. So when that one day comes, when my numbers ain't gonna be an excuse, you know, it'll get played back. Um, but you said that I don't rock with Byron Blake, but then in the same motherfucking blog you say I don't have a problem with Byron Blake. So if you don't have a problem with him, how don't you rock with him? And the way you said you didn't fuck with him and you didn't rock with him was in a manner of saying fuck that nigga. So how are you in this mind state about a man who you don't have a problem with? Honestly, I think that was just a play to try to get around him being the reason that you covering this. You know, I really feel like that was your way to like take away from his work and what he done, because you did like mention a couple of times in there, I'm not using his content. Like, bro, I'm using his content. Oliver, that's what the news is. Everybody's content gets used. This is how you know things. So like when I be seeing that, you know, you come and you start talking about certain things that I saw somewhere else first, and I see the timestamp on yours, it does not mean that you're not using their content just because you use it differently. Period. But to say that you don't fuck with somebody or you don't rock with them, yet you don't have a problem with them, you know, that draws a problem with me, because that just goes to show what type of character you got. But all in all, he told he told, and the way he told was him admitting that he fucked up, and he basically pulled the, hey bro, come on, you ain't even gotta hide no more, bro. They caught us. Yeah, bro, they caught us. Come out, bro. You see what I'm saying? See, just because he didn't point and say he's over there, he's wearing this, that, and the third. No. When he opened his mouth and said, bro, they caught us, bro. Just come out. You ain't got to hide no more. Guess what? He just told on this person. And now the police will not stop looking in this area because he just said that this person can come out of hiding now. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Do y'all feel like he ratted? Do you feel like he didn't rat? If either way, you know what I'm saying. What would your next move be, if he was somebody that was close to you, or not close to you, but just somebody that you, if you was a fan of his, or if you was whatever, like, you know, if you was a friend of his, like if you was somebody who was acquainted with him, like how would you deal with or handle this situation? With that being said, man, I'm up out of here. Hey, listen, go check me out, man. Tap into the music. Tap into the music. Papa Noli on every platform. PAPANOLEONE on every platform. Trust me, you gonna like something. I guarantee it, man. Until next time, though, gone.